Good morning, students. I am Sumit Sharma, your chemistry mentor. Today, we are going to discuss an important topic, that is batteries. Before we start, I would request you all, please like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you get all new notifications. What are batteries? When the galvanic cells are connected in series to obtain a higher voltage, then the arrangement is called a battery. There are two types of batteries. One is the primary batteries and the second one is the secondary batteries. So what are primary batteries? These are the batteries which can be used so long the active materials are present or the reaction occurs once and battery then becomes dead after use over a period of time and can't be then reused. It is also called a primary voltaic cell. Example of primary batteries are dry cell and mercury cell. So first, dry cell. It has a cathode consisting of graphite rod surrounded by a paste of MnO2 and powdered graphite and an anode of zinc. The electrolyte is a moist paste of NH4Cl and ZnCl2. The reaction occurring at anode is Zn gives Zn2 positive plus 2 electron, and at cathode, that is MnO2 plus NH4 positive. NH4 positive will come from the NH4Cl and the electron gives MnOH plus ammonia gas. This NH3 gas can be easily trapped on by reaction with zinc and forming a complex. The standard potential of this cell is 1.5 volt and it falls as the cell gets discharged continuously and once used it can't be recharged. The second one is the mercury cell, which is suitable for the low current devices like hearing devices and the watches, etc. It consists of ZnHg amalgam as anode and a paste of HgO and carbon as the cathode. The electrolyte is a paste of KOH and ZnO. The electrode reaction for the cell are at anode Zn Hg on reaction with OH negative ion gives ZnO plus H2 plus 2 electron, and at cathode HgO plus H2O plus 2 electrons give Hg liquid plus 2 OH negative. The cell potential is approximately 1.35 volt and remains constant during its life as the overall reaction doesn't involve any ion in the solution whose concentration can change during its lifetime. The second is the secondary batteries. Secondary batteries are those which can be recharged again and again for multiple uses. Example is lead storage battery and nickel cadmium battery. So, first is lead storage battery. A galvanic cell supplies a certain voltage. By imposing a higher voltage than the EMF of the cell, that is external voltage, one can reverse the cell reaction. That is, anode becomes cathode and the cathode becomes anode. The reversible lead storage battery is a typical example of it. In a typical lead storage battery, the anode plates are made up of lead while the cathode plates are grids of lead packed with lead dioxide. A solution of sulfuric acid surrounds the plates and acts as the electrolyte. The half cell reaction when the battery is being used up are at anode Pb plus SO4 2 negative ion gives PbSO4 plus 2 electron, and at cathode PbO2 plus sulfate ion plus 4H positive ion plus 2 electron gives lead sulfate plus 2H2O. The overall reaction is Pb solid plus PbO2 plus 4H positive plus 2 sulfate ion gives 2 PbSO4 plus 2 H2O, and the EMF is 2.041 volt. The battery is chargeable since lead sulfate, that is the product of both anode and cathode reaction, sticks to the plate. From cathode reaction we see that as the battery is used up, the sulfuric acid is used up. Now we can determine the charge on the battery by measuring the concentration of H2SO4 in the cell. When the density of the solution is between 1.25 gram per ml and 1.3 gram per ml, the cell is considered as fully charged. When the value of density goes down below 1.20 gram per ml, the battery is in need of charge. By applying external current, we can charge the battery again, and the reaction during the charging at anode is PbSO4 plus 2H2O gives PbO2 plus SO42 negative plus 4H positive plus 2 electron, and at cathode the reaction is PbSO4 plus 2 electron gives Pb plus SO4 2 negative ion. You can write the overall reaction. After many repeated charging and discharging cycles, some of the lead sulfate falls to the bottom of the container. The sulfuric acid concentration remains low and the battery can't be recharged fully. An important secondary cell. Another important secondary cell is the nickel cadmium cell, which has a longer life than the lead storage cell but more expensive to manufacture. The discharging follows the following reaction. At the cadmium electrode, cadmium plus 2OH negative gives cadmium hydroxide plus 2 electron, and at anode the nickel hydroxide on taking electron gives NiOH का whole twice plus OH negative. This nickel cadmium cell has a cell potential of 1.2 volt, which changes a little as it discharges. The next topic is the fuel cell. Fuel cells are another means by which chemical energy may be converted into the electrical energy. The main disadvantage of a primary cell is that it can deliver current for a short period of time. This is due to the fact that the quantity of the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent is limited, but the energy can be obtained indefinitely from a fuel cell as long as the outside supply of the fuel is maintained. One of the example is hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. The cell consists of 3 compartments separated by a porous electrode. Hydrogen gas is introduced into one compartment and oxygen gas is fed into another compartment. These gases then diffuse slowly through the electrodes and react with an electrolyte that is in the central compartment. The electrodes are made of porous carbon and the electrolyte is a resin containing concentrated aqueous sodium hydroxide solution. Hydrogen is oxidized at anode and oxygen is reduced at cathode. The overall cell reaction produces water. The reaction which occurs are: at anode, 2H2 gas plus 4OH negative gives 4H2O plus 4 electron, and at cathode, O2 gas plus 2H2O plus 4 electron gives 4OH negative ions. The overall reaction is 2H2 gas plus O2 gas gives 2H2O liquid. The cell runs continuously as long as the reactants are supplied. Fuel cells produce electricity with an efficiency of about 70% compared to thermal power plants whose efficiency is about 40%. There has been tremendous progress in the development of a new electrode material, better catalyst and the electrolytes for increasing the efficiency of a fuel cell. These have been used in automobiles and spacecraft. Fuel cells are pollution free, and in view of their importance in future, a variety of fuel cells have been fabricated and tried. So this is all about the fuel cells. The next topic is corrosion. So what is corrosion? It is defined as the decay of metal surface due to slow oxidation by the moist air. It involves a redox reaction and formation of an electrochemical cell on the surface of iron or any other metal. In case of iron, corrosion is known as rusting of iron. The mechanism of the process is the one spot of an iron object acts as anode and oxidation occurs on it. The electrons lost by the metal migrate through the metal to another site on the surface and reduce the dissolved oxygen in the presence of H positive ions. The reaction occurring at anode is 2Fe solid gives 2Fe2 positive plus 4 electron and the oxidation potential is 0.44 volt. At cathode, the H positive ions are involved in the reduction of O2 and the reaction is O2 plus 4H positive plus 4 electron gives 2H2O and the electrode potential is 1.23 volt. Since the H positive ions are involved in the reduction of O2 when the pH of the solution is around 9 or 10, then the reduction of O2 becomes less favorable and the iron metal doesn't corrode. The overall reaction is 2Fe solid plus O2 gas plus 4H positive gives 2Fe2 positive plus 2H2O and the electrode potential is 1.67 volt. The Fe2 positive ion now gets oxidized by the atmospheric oxygen to Fe3 positive ion, which comes in the form of rust represented as Fe2O3 dot XH2O. Now, what are the factors which promote the corrosion? The first factor is the reactivity of the metals. Higher the reactivity of the metal will readily corrode. The second is the presence of the impurities. The third one is the presence of air and the moisture. And the last one is the presence of the electrolytes. The presence of electrolytes increases the rate of corrosion. For example, iron rusts faster in saline water than in the pure water because NaCl acts as an electrolyte and increases the or accelerates the formation of Fe2 positive ion and hence that of rust. Now, how can we do the prevention of corrosion? The one is by applying oil and paints on iron object. The second is the coating of a more reactive metal on the surface, that is galvanization. Generally, zinc coating on iron objects. Third is the coating of a less reactive metal on the surface, and fourth is the cathodic protection. In this cathodic protection, the iron object to be protected from corrosion is connected to a more active metal either directly or through a wire. The iron object acts as cathode and the protecting metal acts as anode. The anode is gradually used up due to oxidation of the metal to its ions due to the loss of electrons. These electrons are transferred through the wire to the H positive ions present around the iron object and thus protect it from rusting. As iron object acts as cathode, it is called the cathodic protection. The metals which are more electropositive than iron are used in cathodic protection. So this is all about the corrosion and the electrochemistry. Thank you, students.